10 powerful individuals from space spent thousands of years protecting the Earth from monsters. But now in present day, they realize that maybe thems was monsters all along.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with Andre,
Michelle,
Emily,
and Luis.
We are a family-friendly podcast where each and every week we watch and review a different Disney movie. Be sure to subscribe on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to the Walt Vault episode 168. Don't make fun of my
Episode 168.
That's right. This is our 168th episode. And we're marking this very special occasion by talking about a very
Unexceptional movie. Unexceptional.
it's a movie.
This week, we are talking about the 2021 live-action Marvel film Eternals, and we are doing it explicit style, so if you don't want to hear any naughty language, get on out of here, because we have lots of bad things to say about this movie.
Well, it
okay,
was not that
let's-
bad.
let's-
For
let's
somebody
wait.
Who really was like,
Hold on, back up. We got other things to
That's
things.
true. That's true.
Luis has bones to pick. But first, I have a shout out.
Shout out.
Shout it.
So Andre and I had our baby moon in Disneyland a couple weeks ago. That was fun. And we met a really nice guy in the pin shop, and he asked Andre about, I don't remember his name. I should have got his name. But he asked Andre about his button, and we said, yeah, we have a podcast. And he rolled out the receipt paper and took it off and then wrote down our podcast, and he said, I will be listening to that. So if that is you, sir, and you made it to episode 168,
Shout out.
hi.
Sorry, Michelle didn't remember your name.
Yeah.
I didn't remember to take note of this either. I'm sorry.
I did. He was cool.
It was cool. Yeah. Thanks, Pin Guy.
Nice pin guy. And Louis has a question. I don't know.
all right, so I actually probably thought about this in Disneyland or when we got those shorts, or probably a little bit afterwards. Anyways,
Oh,
Here's the
your
question.
power line
line.
shorts.
Okay.
Front line.
Who has the ultimate swag? Powerline or Prince Naveen? And I'm talking
Define
about,
swag.
and I'm talking about all kinds of swag, just in his style and how he's just
His presentation.
cool, like he just flows.
This is very interesting. A very
Swag
interesting
can be defined
question.
differently for different people.
Naveen.
Like where he goes, he just radiates swag.
Right.
Well, when
Kissing would be nice.
when you
yes.
asked the question, my gut told me Powerline. Like when you asked the question.
Right.
So since that's the first thing that popped into my head, then I'm gonna go with my gut.
Oh, okay.
Don't really know why, but when you asked me that, I was like, oh yeah, it's Powerline.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna go with because he's smooth and he got some moves, and I like his singing voice better.
Right. I will say that the memory that I think most of us have of Powerline from a Goofy movie
With the girl swooning in
is
the back.
actually Max. Right? Max plays Powerline in the beginning of the movie and does that whole first song as like an imitation of Powerline.
Oh shoot, you're right.
And then we see at the end of the movie Powerline do a song, but Max is also there dancing along and doing the exact same moves.
Max has the
So
swag.
I think Max has the swiggity swaggity.
Swiggity swaggity.
He's got it in the baggity. You know what I mean?
Man. To me, just like I feel like Powerline would just be the coolest cookie in the jar, you know?
Oh my God.
Like,
Man,
no
this
matter
cookie's
what he
cool.
says, like,
I'm not
he'd just
gonna
be
eat it.
swagging. Like his style, his personality, he seems like he'd be so full of life. You know,
I
like
mean-
people love him just because he's a cool dude.
He's very
Not
Michael
negative.
Jackson to me.
He's not negative. He doesn't.
Well, yeah, that's definitely true. He's
He
a big
doesn't
pop
pick
star.
fights with SNL stars who steal his wife. You know, none of that. He's just swag.
Kanye, you can't go
Cool.
nowhere, son. You get roasted
Cool.
on the Walt Vault, okay?
You know, he ain't claymation burying that dude alive. None of that in his video. No, he's not doing any of that. So to me, his swag, his character.
His 3 minutes on screen really gave Luis a whole.
Right. Just to be devil's advocate.
I wish you guys could see my face when he was talking about it. I'm just like, well.
Especially because he's eating a Twinkie while he does it.
Oh, yeah.
Hurry up and make that too.
Oh.
Just to give Naveen his due, he does show up in a brand new country and just impresses the heck out of everybody there.
And all the girls be swooning.
And all the girls are swooning. He's singing. He was just pulling guitars away from people, and they're cool with it. It was like, wow, he's so handsome. I'll give it to him.
Flynn Rider has more swag than Naveen.
Oh.
Who?
Flynn Rider.
Oh.
He's more like.
He has the smolder.
Right.
He's very
more,
Robin Hoodie.
I was going to say like Han
Yeah,
Solo.
he has more swag than Naveen
Yeah.
to me. I don't really think of Naveen as like swagadocious,
Swag City.
swagalicious.
He does
Swag
spend
City.
most of that movie as a
Y'all.
frog. But he's swagging when he's a frog, too. He grabs a little...
I'm just going to say, Louis asked his question was who has more swag? Naveen or Powerline?
Okay, then
Not
it's Powerline.
secondary or tertiary characters. In this ask the question, pick one of those
You're
two.
talking to Disney people. We're gonna think of someone else swagadocious.
No, pick those two.
Well, then it's Powerline for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I still like the idea of Powerline more. I'll go with
Yeah.
Powerline,
Emily?
even though it's mostly Max.
I say. I'm going to say Powerline 2, even though I appreciate Naveen's freaking commentary. It is so funny.
Well, and
He
Naveen's a
is-
cutie.
It's funny.
He's out here trying to get some with a frog, and I find that very funny.
A kiss would be nice.
I mean, I would definitely date Naveen. He good looking. Let's be real.
He ain't got no money, honey.
I know, but I wasn't
You
talking
would know
about
that.
money, were we? We didn't say anything about no swag having money. Luis asked about.
He's like a
Other
backward
things.
scrub. It's fine.
Yeah.
What do you mean a backward scrub?
That's funny.
A scrub. He's a scrub.
Oh, okay.
He's a forward scrub.
He's scrub prime.
Scrub, right?
Scrub prime.
You know what I have another. That was a good Louis asked a question. I don't know. I have a side note before we get into our first impressions.
So lazy with
So
that
you
intro.
guys bought those shorts at the World of Disney store
Yes.
in downtown Disney, right? Did you see? You want to talk about the sweatsuit that we saw?
Oh my god.
Tell me it was a freaking Powerline sweatsuit.
Okay,
No.
no.
No, it wasn't.
We
Andre's
go-
gonna post a picture of
We
it.
go into
too.
the big Disney store, right?
And Andre wants joggers or like a sweatshirt. That's what he's looking for.
Right. So we go in there and I see something like red and black, and it's like a sweatsuit. And I get up closer, and there's like little Sebastians on the suit.
Did you guys see that?
Right?
And it's freaking.
But the
what's
thing-
that called? Buffalo plaid.
The thing about the
Ooh, I
suit
love
is that it
buffalo
looks like a
plaid.
bandana.
Yeah.
So it's just a red bandana suit, and the Sebastians are so small that from
It looked like a crip.
a crip from across the street, I don't look like a Disney fan, all right? I
Look
look
like
like a
Crip.
straight up fucking blood, okay? They're like, blah, blah, blah.
Especially where we live. I was like, you can't wear that outside.
I literally didn't buy it because I was like, this is going to get me
Well,
shot.
first of
I
all,
will- I
they didn't have
refuse.
your size. They were sold
Yeah,
out of your
that's-
size
that's
because
true.
little men like you apparently want that sweatsuit. But
They all got in there before me.
but man, we really wanted to buy it, and I hope Andre finds a picture of it to show you right now.
Luis
But
So when we went in the store, Luis was so excited because I helped him find a Powerline pair of shorts. And he got his, oh my gosh.
Look at this.
bandana.
Look at this from here. Look at this from here, Lou.
you think that's Sebastian?
There's Sebastian's
I
all
think
over
you're
this
getting
thing.
shot.
I said so, son.
Andre was like,
hell
this is
no.
marketing for black people in here.
I did say that.
Let me see it again.
We were staring at it for at least
here's the
10
zoom in.
minutes
Are
you
laughing.
dude, look
You're
at this
so
thing, son.
dead.
Yeah, you sent me that. We posted
This thing
it.
is crazy.
That was the craziest
We
thing
were
I've ever
laughing for
seen.
like 10 minutes.
I couldn't believe it.
There was a really cute Robin Hood one next to it that was like green plaid that didn't look as gangstery, but this one.
This wasn't buffalo plaid. It was.
What is it called? Bandana.
Bandana.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
bandana material.
Yeah.
Anywho, so
You saw
Luis,
what Snoop Dogg was wearing at the Super Bowl?
It's very
that's what it is.
reminiscent.
Luis
Mhm.
got his Powerline shorts. He was super excited, and then we get home, and I don't
Oh
think
my
I've seen him that
gosh.
pissed off. He was so mad because
Oh,
they were
right.
so big on him, and he's like, "What is this?" So he immediately texted Andre and Michelle and went like, you guys are going this weekend. You got to get me a different size.
And luckily they had it.
Yeah.
Did that size fit good, Lou?
But great.
Small? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Was it small or extra small?
No, small.
Was small.
Why are you calling out?
I don't know. I can't.
Was it a triple?
I wasn't trying to call him out.
Was it teeny or teeny weeny? What size did you get?
All of a sudden, fucking Disney medium. What kind of fucking medium is this for? A fucking 200-pound man?
It was that big?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Huge, dude.
It was, yeah.
Huge.
And you better watch out because I like those shorts. They fit me great.
Yeah, I was just about to say, sounds comfy.
Oh, God. Okay, let's get
Not
into
My
sure.
fault. I
the
got
thing.
a freaking Gumby style waistline.
All right, we're gonna move on.
Waistline.
Sorry, that was a side note because it popped into my head again. I could not.
That was
with
funny.
the
Oh
Crip
my
Sebastian
gosh.
That's
suit.
okay. Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
for
you would have been
reminding
all
me about
kinds of
Andre
dead,
said
homie.
that he should have bought it and just wore it to his comedy show, like on stage.
That's the only place I can
Be
wear
like,
it.
oh, there's actually Sebastian on this.
If you actually look close.
Do his Sebastian joke.
Yeah,
He's so
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right.
Okay, so Eternals. Luis, I'm going to let you get it out of your system first. What is your first impression of Eternals? And how many times have you
I
watched
thought it was a good movie.
We've
We
watched it twice.
Okay.
You thought it was a good movie.
Thought it was a good movie for sure. I was the one who was really thinking, oh man, they kill this movie. There's no. I legit thought they picked the worst Marvel characters to try to build a movie off of. Like, how are they going to be so relevant to this? Mm-hmm. I still have a hard idea, even after I've watched it, how they're really going to fit into everything.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, I think I'm probably looking at it still with Phase Infinity War goggles.
Right. From,
So,
an
in
Endgame
that sense,
perspective.
they don't fit. But they're not in the Infinity War saga or any of that stuff anymore.
Right.
We're in
That's
phase
true.
4, not phase
We're doing
3.
different stuff.
So
Okay.
I thought I liked it flat out. I didn't have an issue with it whatsoever.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. Emily?
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. It's not my favorite, but like I thought it served its purpose.
You just thought it was a good movie.
It served its
Yeah.
purpose to bring a brand new set of superheroes to the new phase. Job done. Job well done.
I disagree with that.
I have not been able to say this in a long time. It was a movie.
Oh. Damn, you felt that bad.
I hated it.
Hate?
Okay, maybe not hated, but I literally don't like 90% of the characters. Like, I have a major issue with most of the characters. I don't.
Y'all are crazy.
I think the storyline is kind of flat. It's not super in depth, and the big reveal was pretty obvious to me.
Okay.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like I knew Icarus was turning. Like, I could just
Because
tell.
his name
You
is
could just-
Icarus.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, he flew
That's
too
what gave
close
it away
the
to me.
sun,
I was like,
you
oh,
know?
yeah.
They even mentioned that in the beginning and whatnot.
so anywho, I mean, and he's fucking Superman. I'm really pissed. Like, the
He
first time I
is.
watched
Yeah.
this, I was like,
Yeah, he's Superman.
I was so annoyed. Like, oh, cool, shoots laser beam.
Is that how it is in the cartoon? He's basically, or in the comic?
In the comics, yes.
He's Superman?
Yes, that character is the most powerful, and he flies and has heat vision. So
We're just
yeah,
saying that
he's the-
because he basically has the same powers.
He's
as
the Superman figure. What I found interesting is that they mentioned Batman and Superman a bunch in this movie, and it's like, oh, you guys are being really drawing attention to the fact that this homie is exactly like the other character from the other side.
Anywho, I will qualm.
Okay.
We shall qualm.
Qualm we will.
Okay. So in the grand scheme of Marvel movies, I still think that Thor 2 is the worst one, but I think I'd rather watch Thor 2 than this.
You baby braining right now.
Wow.
I think I'd rather watch Thor 2 than Eternals again. It's fine. It's fine. But it doesn't seem like a Marvel
Thank
movie
you. That's
to me.
exactly what I was gonna
I
say.
think it's just like a
And
like
I agree
a
with that statement because, like I said, it just with the goggles that I'm still looking at in the previous phase, it just doesn't seem like a Marvel movie to me. I agree with you. I
But
just
even
don't think it was that awful.
But how could you put out this and then immediately put out Spider-Man?
Because Spider-Man was Sony, homie.
That's true.
As well.
It's a different company. They got different intentions and different goals.
Okay,
And
well, again, in a Marvel universe, the fuck.
Well, I mean, here's the deal. They are part of the Marvel comics, and don't they serve a bigger role in the Marvel comics than they do?
So I'll be honest. Like,
wait, can I finish my first impression?
Yes. Go ahead.
Sorry,
it's okay.
I'll bring it up.
Okay, so it's fine. The movie's not like terrible. It's a fine movie, but I don't relate it to the Marvel universe. Honestly, really at all. And I didn't like, it felt very Suicide Squad to me, where they were like, here's all of these characters that you should care about, or Batman v Superman, when I know nothing about those two characters. Here's all these characters that we want you to like really like right away. Where I was like, well, I don't have any emotional connection to these 10 people at all. And you're like telling me their life stories, and I'm not even getting like drawn in, like connected to them. Yeah. That when you kill some of them, I'm like, okay, whatever. So I think it didn't have that kind of emotional connection, or way of introducing them didn't really work for me. I liked it better on the second viewing than the first viewing. For what it was, and I don't necessarily think it's really bad. I think that they just could have done a lot more than what they did, and it doesn't feel like a Marvel movie to me personally.
No, it doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. I agree.
So when you were saying like, oh, it's served its purpose in that way, I'm like, I don't think it did serve its purpose, because I don't particularly need another Eternals movie, which I'm sure they'll do, and I don't really need to see them in anything else.
But the cutscenes for me were like, oh damn, okay.
The post-credit scene.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, there not to say that there was things I didn't like about this movie, because there definitely were like things I liked about it. But just as a whole, like overarching Marvel thing, and especially because it was like the first Marvel movie we went to see in the theaters again. I think. No, did we see Black Widow in the theater? No, we did. We did. But it was like the first one that we were like, oh, I mean, Black Widow was supposed to come out already, right? So we were really excited for like a Marvel movie, and then we were in the theater after like, so that's how I feel about that. Okay, Andre.
Okay, so first impression, when we went to go see this for the first time, I think, just like overwhelmed by this movie, and not like in a good way. Like, there are a lot of characters that I, even as a Marvel Comics fan, am not familiar with, like, at all. Yeah. Right? So having them go through so many of them, I kind of, it was just a lot of new information to take in, which I am embarrassed to say, because I feel like I'm pretty good at, managing to keep all of this superhero nonsense straight. So watching it a second time helped clarify some of the larger Marvel-y themes that I think they're going for in this. But overall, I think that the reason that I didn't like this movie that much is because, not because I don't like any of these characters, but they really just didn't have enough time to flesh any of them out fully. I think that this property would have been much better served as like an 8-episode TV show, where they could have focused on one person at a time, since they have these long, crazy lives, and we're just supposed to believe that like the relationship that Cersei has with freaking Jon Snow over here is just as strong as it was with old home dude who she was married to for 6,000 years or whatever. I'm just like, what are we even talking about?
Or Sprite. I'm sorry, she annoys the shit out of me. I was like, can you shut up?
Well, so
like, I'm supposed to feel for her, but I don't.
So I like the concept of all these people's powers, and I even kind of enjoyed the concept of them hanging out on Earth and being in the shadows. But I just think that the combination of this movie being it felt very long to watch both times. And also, I feel like I'm not getting enough out of anybody. Just makes it fall pretty low on my Marvel movie list. I would say it's in the bottom 5, bottom 7 maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not high up on the list. I agree with the way that you're putting it. Like verbalizing it, I feel like that's how I feel. But it's hard for me to put in.
I also
words.
kind of agree with Lou. Like it's a fine movie.
But what is the point of me being like, oh, it's fine?
Right.
Does that mean it was good then? No. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've never called
it's fine.
a Marvel movie fine before.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That means it's probably not that great.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
So I guess let me throw a wrench in here. Okay,
wrench it up.
so you guys are trying to build some emotional attachment to these characters for you to like it.
Yeah.
Did you build an emotional attachment immediately in Iron Man 1?
Yeah, because they did good storytelling.
Honestly, yeah, pretty fast.
Yeah, I pretty much loved him.
The storytelling in this wasn't good.
By the time he has gotten out of that cave and gone back home to Happy and is trying to get a cheeseburger and he's starting to make the Iron Man suit, I'm like, I'm on board with this dude.
Maybe if they had focused on 5 Eternals and not 10, then we could have maybe felt that.
I think the number of
it was too many
of characters was too many. And then
so for example, we were supposed to care about like Ajax and her like relationship with all these people, and they kept saying like she loved you so much, and I was like, okay,
right,
like we literally didn't see any of that. So I'm just supposed to.
She doesn't have that many lines in the movie. She's
and
not
she
in it that
doesn't
much.
particularly like. They don't show her doing anything.
Right.
Like, we know that she heals, but, like, cool, she healed someone once, and now she's like, I love you guys all so much, like my children. I don't know. I just didn't... That's an example
it's a stretch.
of, like,
The story... That's why I'm saying they packed too much into one movie, and there's too many Eternals. Is that how it is in the comics? There's 10 of them?
I believe so, or even more. You know, the way that the story goes.
Well, they could have been like,
dozens.
There's 4 or 5 who didn't want to come fight,
right,
and they were just like, nah.
Or like, you know.
And then when emergence happened, they all get like the thing that happens at the end.
Right.
They all get like from
in
China and
it's
wherever.
really hard when you try to introduce 10 characters. Like, let's be real. That's just a feat in and of itself as like a storyteller or a writer. I'm gonna make you care about 10 characters in 2 hours.
I mean, like
that's a lot.
If you think about the X-Men movies, right, which kind of do that, but they focus solely around like Logan in those first couple of movies. They're Wolverine movies with the other X-Men kind of circulating him and his story.
I don't remember all the X-Men, and
sure,
I've seen them.
and
but
that's
they're
the thing
not
is
trying to focus on all of them, like you
right.
said.
You don't have to. In this movie, we have to believe that all of these people have lived for thousands of years together, and that they feel like they're a family, and some of them are in love with each other, and.
But they're also AI, and why do they feel human emotions and die like humans? I don't know.
Well, yeah.
That was a stretch for me, too.
Ay, caramba, yeah.
Some of the lore stuff is far out there. And honestly, once again, yeah, I think like the idea around making an Eternals movie for Marvel is like one of the most outlandish things that they have done, I think.
But I think they thought it was going to be really good.
Well, I mean, sure. But
I think
like,
they thought it was going to be a hit.
With the other outlandish ones, with Ant-Man and Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, who
bangers.
I said all those names, and you guys know who they are. Everybody knows who they are. But before those movies came out, they were pretty obscure, and they were riskier for Marvel than like an Iron Man or a Captain America would.
Yeah, but Guardians, that's the perfect example. How many characters were there?
There's 5.
It was way easier to fall in love with all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So can we do a like favorite character, least favorite character?
Yeah, I was going to say we should go through
because then
them.
at least we can talk about them, because I, no offense, don't want to go through the whole plot unless you want me to do an Emily full plot, because I can make it happen in like 4 seconds.
But I do think we should touch on each character and like you said. So
or we can just say like one snippet about each character that we liked or didn't like, you know, so we talk about all of them.
Yeah.
For sure.
So the 2 main characters are, I guess you could say, Cersei and Icarus.
I mean, sure.
Are the 2 main ones.
Yeah.
So
Don't really like either of them.
So Cersei is played by Gemma Chan. She is an Eternal who can like transmute matter, right? So she
Their powers are cool.
That's important.
She touches
But
a
I
rock.
just
She could
don't-
turn it
yeah.
into water. She could do the whole water into wine thing. That's pretty important.
She's not Jesus, okay?
Dude, she's around before Jesus. She's way BC, way BC. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like it. Nothing's before Jesus.
Okay,
All right, go ahead.
Nothing.
So
stupid.
she
Go
can
ahead.
change. She can change stuff into other stuff. In the past, she comes to Earth and loves the humans. In the present, she is hanging out with Jon Snow. What's his name in the
Kit
movie?
Harington.
Is Dane? Yeah, played by Kit Harington.
I love him.
And also, she lives with Sprite. Icarus is the Superman
Her husband.
character, right? Yeah, it's Cersei's husband. He can fly. He can shoot lasers out of his eyes. And
He's pretty strong.
He's pretty strong. Yeah, he is the strongest of the bunch, I guess. Although that's arguable.
I just didn't really like either of them, though.
Yeah.
Hold on, Michelle. Wasn't this yours? So you said you don't like either of them. Keep going. Are you going to say anything else about the other characters?
Oh, well, I was going to say, I'll say who my least favorite character is. Is that what we're going to do? My least favorite character is, it was a toss-up between Sprite and Druid, but I think it's Druid.
Excuse?
What is wrong
I need you to
with
back
you?
the fuck up.
He's so... Whoa, Andre and I don't like Druid.
Okay, well, both of you can back
Right?
up.
You don't like him either? We were just talking about this. We were like, he's so fucking annoying.
I mean, he's definitely an asshole, right? He's an asshole throughout the movie. That's the purpose that he serves. So, like, I wasn't a huge fan of his character, especially at the beginning, but I think the actor did a good job, and I really think that his suit is the dopest out of all of them.
Yeah, but we're not talking about his suit.
No, Snape, okay.
So, how is he the worst? If anything, he is the one who sees the hypocrisy day one.
Right.
I like that he's the
That's
one that's
fine.
like, this is not fucking right.
Exactly.
Like, I like that
Well,
about
I
him.
don't agree with what he does.
Seeing it.
I don't agree with what he does.
Oh, you don't like his
What do you
little...
mean?
You don't
I don't like
his
that
little
he's
cult in the village that
no.
he's got going on for
and I don't like
thousands
that
of
he's
years?
controlling a bunch of humans. No, I don't like that.
Okay, you realize he
Hold
was...
on, let her finish. She said that her two least favorite,
Oh, yeah, it
she's
is
still
your
talking.
turn.
It's
Finish.
Sprite and
Sprite
Druid.
and Druid, okay.
Yeah, I don't agree with what he does at all. Like,
Okay.
I don't like how he uses his power, so I don't really like him.
He's the mind control guy.
Well, you know why? Because I think he's trying to be God. Like, oh, I'm just going to control all these people, and they're going to be no conflict.
for sure.
So I don't like that he's playing God. Like, I don't like
Okay.
it. So that's why I don't like Druid.
So who's your favorite?
My favorite is a toss-up between Faustus and Gilgamesh, but they killed him off pretty quick. When I first watched the first time, it was Kingo, but he was kind of bugging me this time. But I would say Faustus is my favorite.
Okay, what do you think, Andre?
My favorite...
What do you think about the two mains since she started that?
Oh,
I like
okay.
that.
So Cersei and Icarus. Icarus, like
She married an Icarus.
his motivations
Yeah.
weren't. I don't think they were clear enough for me throughout the movie. Like as you said, his turn is kind of telegraphed throughout. Although I don't know if I fully saw it coming the first time. I can't really.
I
remember.
didn't see it the first time.
But as he makes his turn, I'm kind of confused as to why he's going to such great lengths to protect his view of Erisham, his god or whatever. But aside from that, like the rest of him is fairly boring. He's just kind of loves Cersei and walks around, and he doesn't have much to his character that I saw in the movie.
No.
Cersei, I got a little bit more from. I liked Gemma Chan's performance. I think her powers are cool when she like turns the bus into petals of flowers and stuff like that. That was pretty sick. I was worried about the people inside the bus.
That's
like,
what I
did she turn them
said.
into flowers?
Andre was like, where'd the people go?
There was only one bus driver. He was under there. But as for her character, I liked once she got the Erisham ball or whatever after Ajax died, and was kind of trying to come into her own as like the new leader of the group. But
she still didn't feel like the leader to me, even at the end. Even when she came into her own, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah,
a little lackluster.
It didn't go quite far enough, I guess.
Okay, favorite and least favorite.
Who is my least favorite? Okay, my least favorite is a weird one because I actually like her a lot, and it's Thena. And the only reason she's my least favorite is just because I think Angelina Jolie is so underutilized in this movie. You know, like it almost seems like she should have had either a more separate role, like she stayed away from them for a lot longer, or she actually did go through her madness fully and they had to like lock her up or something like that, so she only came in a couple of times. Or she should have been a much stronger force in the main core of the group. But as it stands, she was kind of just like middle of the road and didn't have too many lines, and I feel like they didn't give her that much to do except for act crazy every scene, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's just like, I'm doing fine. Oh, my face is twitching. I'm killing you. I'm evil.
I thought she was cool, but yeah, she doesn't.
Right, and she has a super cool character. She's basically Wonder Woman, you know, which is cool to see Angelina Jolie do. But I just didn't think that there was enough of her.
Yeah.
And my favorite, I think my favorite is Phastos 2. I really like his powers. Like, I think they're the coolest. He can just create and engineer, and
if you don't know Andre, he would be Phastos. Like if he
yeah,
could choose,
for sure.
that would be him.
For sure,
I would choose those powers, and it's so cool when he's using them to like fight at the end.
Also, he keeps it real, which I like.
Yeah. And he's the one who like really settled down, you know, out of all of them. He has a family, he has a house, you know. I assume he has got a job of some kind. I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know. Maybe he don't need no job.
Well, I mean, yeah,
maybe he
maybe
just
he's
creates
just
money
like,
with his powers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, dude. Like here's another couple extra hundreds,
Right.
honey.
He's got the mint. What do you call it? He's printed money.
He just make the mint.
Yeah.
Make a whole mint. So yeah, I think Phastos is my favorite character. But I do like Kingo a lot too. But
I like Kingo for the humor aspect, but
yeah, he's funny and he's got cool powers, but he is very weirdly absent at the end of the movie. Did you guys notice that at all?
Yeah.
I definitely noticed it more on the second watching. But like you know, they're all about to go gear up to fight the emergence and stop it, and then he's like, "Hey, guys, I like
He legit
Icarus a lot."
bounces.
yeah, he bounces.
He's like, I'm not gonna fight.
I'm like, why'd he get
against
buffed for this
Arishem or
movie if he
whatever.
wasn't even going to fight in it?
And then he's like, bye. And I was like, oh, okay, he's probably going to come back and kick some ass in a second or whatever.
Got buffed for the movie and then he didn't even fight.
And then he never shows up. And then at the very end, he's just like walking around with Cersei and he's like, oh, yeah, so we froze the Celestial or whatever. I mean, I didn't because I wasn't there or anything, but it was really weird.
So he's
that
not
happened.
my least favorite character because he
Kingo?
was fine. But I swear, every time he fought, I looked at Luis and he's like, this is so fucking stupid. He literally had a gun, like his fingers in guns, and he was shooting at like, that is dumb. I'm sorry. It looked so stupid.
And he did like a little Kamehameha ball. He's like,
Yeah, that's fine.
I liked it.
He could have done like pew 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 with his palm or something. He could have even done the Spider-Man thwip, and I wouldn't have even been mad. But the gun fingers, like
That's funny.
He
Dumb.
probably can do any of that. You know, he just produces the energy and shoots it out. I don't think he has to do it in this way, but I
I'm
bet
sorry.
he
Maybe
likes
he
it.
makes it go straight.
he's like, nah,
Pew,
I'm
pew, pew,
guns
pew.
though.
Yeah.
He's a gunslinger.
Okay, Emily, who's your favorite then?
Well, hold on. Let me do the first two. I don't think the main characters they didn't like capture me. I kind of agree with you. Icarus was like chilling most of the movie,
Right.
like looking at Cersei
Like his accent,
or
but-
out.
A good
My
accent.
problem with him is that he's too sexy. He was going to be a bad guy. Like, you can't be that good looking and not become a bad guy.
I'm too
He
sexy.
honestly could play Superman. Like, he looks like
Yeah,
Superman.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And he had that little gray streak that I like so much.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah.
So my problem is that Gemma Chan, Luis and I watched her in the TV show Humans, and Humans was like where like people had AI robots in their house, and the robots were
Eventually
like
became
Sentient.
yes,
That's
but
cool.
they literally were like people bots, and I equated her acting in that where she was an AI
Right.
to this. I'm like, she wasn't. I don't feel like she had like enough emotion, and when you really watch her face, like it doesn't convey like emotion.
I agree.
So I've kind of felt like she was a Kristen Stewart in this one.
Ironically enough, it turns out that these Eternals are just robots anyway. They're just space robots.
Right? So she is
Kind of
a
pissed
space
me
robot.
off. I was
She
like,
is an
"Alright."
AI.
So anywho, whatever's for them. Least favorite? I'm gonna go with probably Sprite.
Sprite.
I couldn't.
Get
do
over
I feel? Do I feel for her?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Awful. It
you've
reminds
been
me
alive
of the
for
date with
thousands
date
of-
with the vampire. No.
Oh,
what's
yeah,
that called?
yeah.
Is that
Interview
what's
with
the
a
name?
Vampire.
Interview with the vampire.
I think
right,
you'd
right.
be
That's
over
Kirsten
it.
Dunst.
Date with the other one. Yeah, Kirsten
7,000
Dunst had
years
like
later.
the
Mom's
worst.
got a date with a vampire.
There you go. With super. Oh, Charles Shaughnessy. He's so cute too. Anywho, but that was like awful, like not being able to grow up.
Right. She's the child one who doesn't grow up.
Okay, but like
And they
how
mentioned
old?
Peter Pan in the,
how
in the,
how
in the
old
movie.
do you think she is as a kid? Like 12?
Like 13.
Yeah, young.
Okay, then go find some teenagers.
But if
But
you're
then she doesn't grow
7,000
up.
year old, do you want to hang out with teenagers?
No, I
And she doesn't grow up, so like, what's she gonna do?
Right. They're
Yeah,
going to
that's
high
true.
school, and she's like, oh, bye, guys. I'm staying in middle school again.
So favorite character, I would say Gilgamesh. He was super sick.
Yeah.
I loved his fighting. I felt like he always had infinity gauntlets, like 2 gauntlets to like beat the shit out of people.
It was very cool to watch.
Him and Wong are twins, though.
Oh my god, Luis kept calling them
Twins.
Wong.
I made Andre show a picture.
Yeah, we looked this
of them
up.
side by side to me. They're twins,
So
dude. Like,
Gilgamesh is played by Don Lee, and Wong is played by Benedict Wong.
and they're twins.
And you know they're both obviously bigger Asian dudes, but they do have very similar facial features. So that's
I love how they have a
the fact
picture
that,
together.
Yeah, the fact that 2 of them in a Marvel movie
Don't they look like
or in
twins?
separate Marvel
Yeah, they have
movies,
very similar facial features.
they're very similar actors. And I you know what, I bet for 2 actors like this, they've been at every audition they've ever been to
Probably.
together.
Oh,
Like,
I'm sure.
you know?
So I would say that I have a first and a second place favorite. First place, Gilgamesh. Second place is Druig
Like-
and the fast girl.
What's her
Makari.
name?
Makari.
Makari. Thank
dude.
you.
Makari's
She
very
was
cool.
sick. Anywho, that's how I feel. Andre, Luis.
I like. Oh well. A side note on Mercari. I felt like that was maybe not the first time I had seen a speedster that actually looked fast on screen, but they made her look fast,
Yeah.
so I like that.
She was what's his
confused.
name?
The way she was shot was different than I've seen in a lot of speedster style movies. Just in the
Because-
way that when you see her, she is moving fast,
Yeah.
as opposed to her moving regular when everything else
Everyone's
is slow
slow,
motion.
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I like
She actually like
haven't seen The
seemed
Flash,
like
have
she
you?
was running.
like the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because they make him.
Luis just loves
pretty
Barry
fast.
Allen.
I know, but I thought she was faster.
Yeah.
Okay, Luis.
Going fast, yeah.
She was the true Marvel speedster.
Honestly,
okay?
Druig, number 1.
Druig's number 1.
And
knew you were gonna
Makari's a
like
close
Druig.
2.
Yeah.
You know, here's my qualm with your qualm. Okay.
Whatever.
Here we go.
I got a
Death
qualm.
bombs.
He wasn't wanting to play God. He just wanted them to chill.
He just wanted them in a piece.
And when he wasn't allowed to do it, he took matters into his own hands.
She's being a dictator.
You know, and the only
Is it wrong? Yes, like in a human ethical way, but I can see where he feels like, well, these people are getting too violent. They're getting too ahead of themselves, and I want to keep them safe. Like, this is not necessary.
his
wants to protect
intentions
them
are
too.
not dictatorship.
No free will.
Intentions.
He's taking,
Just
taking away their free
just
will.
less free will. It's like, hey,
Okay.
you guys want to come live with me?
That's fine. That's your
Yes.
guys' opinion. You can disagree with
Hey,
me.
you guys want to sweep up all these leaves real quick? I'm like, yes.
And then Makari, she's just badass.
Yeah, she's really cool.
Yeah, Makari's really cool. She's deaf. Huh? Oh yeah.
Her that actress is naturally deaf.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The actress is
She
deaf.
was
Say
in,
naturally.
She was in.
Naturally.
That's very insensitive of me to say. So in real life, she's actually deaf.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say.
The actress is
Yes,
Lauren
we knew.
Ridloff.
She was in she is in The Walking Dead.
Oh, okay.
As far as I can tell, she's still there.
I never made it to that season.
She's pretty legit.
for sure. For sure.
I will say that I loved that every character signed. Like, well, except for Athena, but I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, they've all been living
Or
together
Athena.
long enough to
Yes.
know every language ever, probably.
I really
Yeah.
I agree with you though, Andre, about Athena. I felt like, well, because Luis and I were doing like a who's strongest, like who's the cool, like not the coolest, but who's the strongest, and obviously Icarus on like a just kind of
Power-
start.
on a power level. Yeah.
He's probably the easiest to peg for that. But then I feel like Gilgamesh,
Also
he was
quite
strong.
powerful.
But then Athena was like
Athena
the
is
best
also
fighter.
Crazy
The
strong.
fighting style I liked watching the most was Thena.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that.
Because of her like energy weapons. That was pretty sick.
Yeah.
But then also,
It reminded me of Doctor Strange, like how she like kind
right?
of
Yeah. Just whipped it out, you know. But also, who was I just gonna mention? Phastos at the end like really surprised me when stuff starts popping off and he just puts up his arms. And he's like, and he just makes two guns. He's like, pew, 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 pew. It's like,
Well, and I like his,
snap.
like-
So he can just copy Kingo over there.
His power dampening device on Icarus.
Yes,
was,
exactly.
Sick.
He grabs Icarus out the sky, wraps him up, and just like starts sucking away his powers, which is really, really cool.
It makes him look a lot cooler because I kept saying like there's the fighters and the helpers, right?
Yes.
Because
support team,
right?
Cersei, Druig.
Yeah, Cersei, Druig, Phastos sometimes,
and Ajax.
And Ajax, and even is her name Mercari?
Yeah,
Mercari.
Her too, in some ways.
Which is interesting because like. Lou, you know, if you have super speed, you're basically unbeatable, right?
She should have been
in battle, but yeah, she was taking a much more hands-off approach until she had to fight Icarus, and she was doing some damage to him.
Yeah,
you know?
she was.
That was cool.
Pissed.
That was cool to watch.
Dude, Icarus was just so OP'd, man.
Right.
Like
That's the thing about the Superman character.
Yeah.
That,
I guess you just gotta. You can't make a feeble ass Superman.
Right.
You know. But
in so much that they couldn't even like find a way in the story to have him be killed by any of them. He had to go fly himself into the sun, you know?
I mean, that's kind of telling
no
right
offense,
there.
I
like,
thought that was really on the nose.
Like, okay.
Come on, he's gonna fly into the sun.
I'm
How
so
cool
sad.
for him.
I betrayed my friends. My wife don't love me no more. She was Jon Snow.
I just, speaking about another hottie, Jon Snow. Okay.
Who's Jon Snow?
So he's Dane.
Dane.
Cersei's
Who is freaking
boyfriend.
hilarious. I'm lying to you. My favorite character is Karun.
Oh, Karun
Karun
is
is a
the
He is
man.
He's my
dude.
favorite character in this movie. I laughed so hard.
Every time when Kingo, they're like fighting in the woods or whatever, and Kingo has to like charge up a shot, and he gets under the beast and he like decapitates it with his power ball or whatever, and then he's like,
Good
Karun,
shot,
did
sir.
you get that? And he's like, I got it, sir.
He was so funny. I really enjoyed him. He was like sentimental at the right moments, but
Yes.
also like I don't know. I
He's
just
so
thought
loyal,
he was awesome.
and
I like
he's
how
so
he
funny.
knew about everybody.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
right.
The friends from college.
The Eternals.
Oh, you're the Eternals. Oh my God,
Thank
you're
you
here.
so
You're here.
much.
He's like, hey, yeah, guys, Karun is fine. He's been with me for the past 50 years. And
He
when,
was-
when he first met me, he actually thought I was a vampire and tried to stab me in the heart. So
I thought that was hella funny
How
because
many times do I have to apologize, sir?
not
Because-
enough.
I don't mean to seem like insensitive here. I really don't, but like it seems to me if you're from like not a Western country, if you see somebody who has been living for a very long time, you're not asking a question. You're not asking for his documentation. You're getting a stake and you're trying to drive it through the motherfucker's heart. Like if he's from Mexico, if he's from,
been
out
hanging
of the
out with this
country in
dude for 10
India,
years, and he
you're
ain't
not
got a
asking
single
any
wrinkle.
questions. You're driving that
Stabbing.
stake. You know,
Yeah.
which I think that's how I see it.
I thought he was really, really awesome.
So funny. I can just imagine Karun in like 1960.
He was funny.
He's got a bunch of garlic. And he's just like, hey, you want any? Or?
So
You can't come in my house because I didn't invite you.
So I know we don't really want to go through the plot because it is kind of thin, and honestly, to us talking about the characters is getting into the plot anyways. But I think I want to talk about the Celestial thing.
Okay.
And then I also want to talk about how they tried to tie this into Marvel. Right?
Sure.
Because I think that's where a lot of my qualms were. So they introduced the Celestials at the beginning. Honestly, I still really don't understand the Celestial stuff too much. Like, I know that Guardians of the Galaxy dude, like his dad's a Celestial, but he looks human. So then why do these things look like robots? And then I was like getting confused,
Right.
you know? So
Well,
they
in the Guardians, the first one, wasn't Del Toro like
They were living in the Celestial's head.
Yes.
Yes.
They live in nowhere, which is the head of a dead celestial.
Well, but weren't they also, when Del Toro was talking about like the Power Stone, weren't those all Celestials trying to hold it?
The Celestials created the Infinity Stones,
Yeah.
I believe.
But
Right?
didn't they
Isn't that
try
how it
Yes,
to harness
yes.
its power and they couldn't? And they all like
Well, I think they just. I think the Celestials help create the universe, and as the universe is created, the Infinity Stones are also created. Right? That's just a side effect of them creating the universe.
But
You saw a Celestial holding the Power Stone in the staff and destroying the world.
Yeah. That was a different Celestial.
So I have some qualms with Celestials because then I don't understand how his dad's a Celestial but looks like a human, and then how is he?
He was
part
actually a
Celestial?
brain.
Hold on, who's dad?
Star-Lord's dad in Guardians 2. He is Ego the Living Planet. They describe him as a Celestial, I believe, in that movie. In the comics, he's just a planet with a face. he's not like a human man. But he does cast out those seeds that can become like a human version of him and lay seed with woman or whatever. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Lazy.
So I'll get past
they're
that.
laying that seed,
I
dog.
think that they just don't explain it in a way that's enticing.
Yeah, well, I mean, and they're expecting you to suspend like all disbelief.
A lot.
Right.
Oh, so the Celestials were the first things here, and they created the universe, and then now they send these people and deviants to a planet to make the planet powerful, and then I plant a seed, and then another Celestial is born. I was like, there's not another way for you to birth a Celestial?
It's a lot of circular thinking here. It's like the Celestials. We are the ultimate creators of the universe. So what we're going to do is make more Celestials. You know, that's fun. So we're going to house them in planets, and to get them to actually be born,
it takes 7,000 years.
We're just going to... Well, we're gonna cook it a little bit. You know, it's got to get hot energy wise. So we're gonna let the population go.
Preheat.
So in order to help with that,
sense.
we're gonna send the deviants there. The deviants are gonna kill the apex predators so that the humans can gather intelligence or whatnot. Uh-oh, my deviants done messed up. Oopsie, I better create some other shit, some Eternals, and have them go fight the deviants. And then after the deviants is dead, the Eternals will help everybody get their technology together. We'll cook up this planet. We'll birth in the Celestial. Everybody dies. Chop, chop.
But that's just that.
It seems
to
like a
me,
bad plan.
In and of itself, makes no fucking sense to me. So when they're trying to say that this is how it is, I'm like, okay. Like that's not enticing to me. Where I'm like, that's a great fantasy plot storyline.
No,
Sure.
No, it doesn't fucking make sense to me.
I feel like it just falls pretty flat because it's so linear in what they're expecting you to be okay with.
Yeah.
And so, like, is Erisham like the head Celestial?
Right. We don't know where he stands.
They said like
in
Celestial
terms of-
Prime, I think, or something like that. But why? I don't know. Why is he interacting with these?
And is he like the Watcher on the wall?
Oh, that was my other
The
thing.
Watcher is really powerful too. So who's more powerful, the Watcher or the Celestials?
Is the Watcher really powerful though?
I mean, he is in that he is omniscient.
Is he a Celestial?
He sees all. The Watcher is not a Celestial.
Okay, then who the fuck is he?
He's different. He's just an alien with a big head.
He was
I don't
one
know.
of those homies that was chilling with Stan Lee on the rock.
Yeah.
I told Luis, I think my heart.
But he's hella powerful too.
He is, but he's not a Celestial. He's a different category of being, I guess.
My hard time with Erisham is like, so he only knows what happens when they're talking in Erisham language.
In Erisham land.
Because if that orb is inside you, I feel like it's a spy device. Like, how does he not know what's happening?
At all times. Like,
You
why
know?
didn't he just come in and be like, hey, stupids.
Yeah.
Stop
Like,
fucking my shit
do
up.
what I told you to do. But he's not. Like, the only time he knows what's happening is when someone comes and talks to him. But, like, he also is, like, all-knowing. So I just feel like that doesn't, like, add up for me.
Right. I think something that they didn't explain well at all in this movie is like what the extent of a Celestial's power actually is.
They basically play God. And the only reason I kind of got that this time is because at the end, when Erisham takes them and says, like, your memories will tell me if these humans are worthy or not, I'm like, who are you to say if they're worthy or not? So to me, it just feels like he's, like, playing God. But
so from this article I'm reading, it says Arishem, as the Prime Celestial, he set out to create life in the universe using his incredible powers to create galaxies hosting billions of stars and planets. In order to preserve the progression of life as time went by, Arishem designed a plan in which he implanted celestial seeds in different planets. In time, those seeds would lead to the emergence of other celestials. So he's just making life, make little life, make big life. Little life, big life.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only important thing then is that these planets can birth the celestial. He doesn't actually care about making life in the universe.
In the universe, he just cares about the celestials.
Seems
himself.
like it.
But then, okay, so at the end of this movie,
Well, dude, they all say that the birth of each celestial could be the birth of millions of lives.
right? Because the celestial.
Because that celestial would create
more
planets.
Right.
But then kill them all because there's
Not
an
all,
ET
just
in that.
one planet within that billion.
Yeah, I guess so. So then at the end of this movie, Arishem comes up to Cersei and who else did he bring? Fastos and
He got
Kingo,
everybody.
Dane.
The ones left.
the ones who are on Earth. Yeah. So he calls to them. He's like, "Hey, so I guess things didn't go as planned, huh?"
He's like, you decided to sacrifice a celestial.
Celestial for these humans. So I'm going to bring you in. I'm going to review the footage. And if I find that the humans are actually worth it, then we all cool. But if not, then I'm going to come back and you will face judgment. And it's like, all right.
Yeah, he's playing God.
Yeah. So yeah, he really has not been paying attention
No.
to what's been happening on
Which
Earth.
I just find very bizarre.
He's like, my egg's cooking. I'll come back to it in 20 minutes or whatever.
20 minutes is 7,000 years it took.
That's for him.
Well, maybe
you
it's
know.
20
It's
minutes
20
for him.
minutes for him. He's like, hey, I put this egg in here
So,
a couple minutes ago.
That was just like a big qualm for me. I wasn't into it. Then my other qualm is when Ajax is talking to Icarus about the emergence going to happen. And she says her reason why she doesn't want the emergence to happen really anymore is because the humans stalled the emergence when Thanos did the snap for 5 years. And then she just like started appreciating them more or something. So I guess
pretty cool.
that's how they were trying to tie it in.
No,
Like, I don't know.
I think she said something about she was just fascinated at how they've grown and just she was fascinated at them because they've evolved so far that they found a way to bring back half the population. Like,
Yeah, but
like
only
what
the
other
superheroes.
entity in the galaxy has been able to do a feat like that?
Right, and she was impressed by the humans of it all, not necessarily Thanos who,
Yeah,
who
yeah,
stopped
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay, that
But
makes
it
He's like,
wasn't
he's
even-
like, there's something special about this species
About-
if they've done that.
right, and she
Yeah.
has retained her memory from the millions of years that she's been alive and doing this, right? So for
Yeah,
her,
she's never gonna reset, has she?
right, I don't think she's been reset.
No, she
has
hasn't.
to. She has to keep the secret. So I think for her to be the one to say that, like, hey, maybe Arishem's not right. I'm the one with the most knowledge here. Then yeah, I think.
And
you're
the most
right.
loyal, I would say, but
Right.
she is Prime.
because she's the one who talks to him and actually sees that he's real and exists or
'Cause-
whatever.
That's the thing, right? Prime Celestial?
Yeah, Prime Celestial.
No, excuse me. Prime Eternal?
She's I guess the Prime Eternal. She's
I
the
want to
thing?
call
Okay.
them
Eternal number one.
Eternal Prime just because of Optimus.
E1.
yeah.
E1.
But
E1.
I
Yeah.
just didn't really like how they just kind of half-assed were like, oh yeah, that one time Thanos snapped, or oh yeah, Icarus, I guess you could lead the Avengers now, or whatever. I'm like, you guys haven't been doing shit, so like I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it from you.
Those couple of lines of dialogue, I will say, I mean,
didn't-
they were mildly funny, but I think overall they felt forced.
Yeah.
You know?
Like they were like, we gotta tie this
hey,
in.
we gotta mention freaking Iron Man, Captain America. Let's get these hits. We gotta get the views. Or
And
whatever.
you know, Thor used to hang out with me. He ran after me when he was a kid.
Yeah, now he won't return my phone calls or whatever.
That was just a too much for me, where I didn't like that. I was like, you guys aren't tying it in like in the right way. So where they were trying to tie it in the right way, and I think it kind of worked, were the post-credit scenes
Yes.
to an extent, because I'm still kind of confused about them.
So let's talk about the.
Can we talk about the Dane one first?
Yeah, let's talk
'Cause
about
I
that one
liked
first. Okay, so
The sword.
yeah, so let me bring him up. So throughout the movie, Dane has a couple of lines of dialogue where he's like, "Yeah, I come from a crazy family," and like, "Oh, you gave me this ring. It's got my family crest on it. That's pretty cool. Thanks you." And
Thanks you.
Thanks you. And at one point, Cersei calls him, and she's like, "Did you ever reconcile with your uncle? You should really do that. You should make amends because you guys are good together or whatever." So they keep bringing up his family. So at this post-credit scene. Oh, and also, before I get to that, also during the movie, at a certain point on the ship, Thena pulls out like the sword Excalibur. She's like, hey, check this out. And they were like, yeah, Arthur really liked you or whatever. So establishing that some of that old magical ancient shit exists in Marvel. So in the post-credit scene, we see him opening a chest or whatever, and he's very nervous about it. He's like, I don't know if I can do this. And he opens it, and inside is a sword, and it's wrapped in wrappings or whatever, and it starts like screeching and wailing like it's haunted. He goes to
some Harry Potter shit.
Some Harry Potter shit. He goes to touch it. It starts like reacting to his touch. You can see the metal shifting on the blade or whatever.
I don't think he fully touches it yet.
No, he does not touch it. He gets real close to it, and then a voice is heard behind him, and it says like, "Hey, you ready for that, young blood?" Or what? Oh wait, no, what does he say?
Young blood.
He says, "You sure you ready for that, Mr. Whitman?" And
Luis is like, "It's Wesley Snipes."
And then the scene ends. Luis is basically right, because that voice was actually Mahershala Ali, who has been cast as Blade in a future Marvel movie, right? So Blade in the comics, if you don't know, he's a vampire hunter. He's half vampire himself, so he deals with magic and mythical creatures and stuff like that.
So I wasn't wrong when I said he was going to be Van Helsing.
Yeah, it's pretty close. So I believe Dane Whitman in the Marvel comics is the character the Black Knight, who I don't know too much about. I've seen him in a couple of things. I believe he has a magical sword, and
they say at some point in a comic,
he almost looks like
cross.
Moon Knight
Right,
there.
exactly.
Is that Moon Knight?
No. This is not Moon Knight. This is the Black Knight. Different Knight. Let's see. It says, burdened by a heavy past and wielding the ebony blade, Dane Whitman forges a new legacy as the Black Knight.
Okay.
Yeah, so, British superhero.
Oh, so we should have known because his name was Dane.
I mean, yeah, they don't say Whitman until this very last line. So if you're a big comics reader, then you would
probably
know.
have known. Yeah.
But the appearance of Blade in this movie is very exciting.
We watched didn't we watch Blade not that long ago?
Yes,
it was pretty good.
You and I watched the late 90s Blade with Wesley Snipes.
It was interesting, but yeah.
Yeah, which is a good movie.
All right, now the other post-credit scene where I was like rolling
confused.
my eyes.
Dude, I didn't freaking realize it was Harry Styles until Andre told me in the car.
Yeah.
Luis told me.
She didn't I don't think you knew.
Okay, first off, who the fuck is Harry Styles?
Yeah, there you go.
He's one from One Direction.
One Direction. Okay.
But I guess he's
one of the boy band
a solo
members.
artist now.
He's from 1D.
He's from 1D.
What the fuck, Andre?
One Direction.
You don't know about 1D?
You can ask my sister. I don't know.
So he One Direction broke up or whatever, however many
was there a
years
TV
ago.
He sings
about
that
these
song,
people? No.
Watermelon Sugar High.
Does he?
Watermelon Sugar High.
Isn't that a Jonas?
No, that's Harry Styles.
I know no differences between Jonas and Harry's.
Whatever. Regardless of that, he has been in a couple of movies before, so he's not just like a pop star that's going directly to acting. He was in.
And he's gonna be in a fucking Marvel.
He was
movie.
in Dunkirk.
Oh, I need to watch that,
Christopher
man.
Nolan. Oh, you haven't seen it?
No, is it good?
Oh, dude, you're gonna love Dunkirk. It's really good, and he's in it, and he's really good in it. There's not too many lines spoken in that movie, so it's a lot of like facial acting and body language stuff. But he was fine. He was perfectly good. So I'm not excited to see him because he's in 1D. I just think he's a fine actor thus far.
From what you've seen him in.
From what I've seen him in.
Okay, so the beginning of the cutscene is Kingo?
No. Is it Kingo?
No.
No, Kingo's not there. It's
Druig,
Thena, and Makari.
On the ship.
Yeah.
Which is called something.
Right.
The Domo.
So the ship is...
Yeah, the Domo.
They went out on their way to go find other Eternals out in the universe, let them know what the skinny is, that these Arishan fools have been lying to them their entire lives or whatever. So while they're out on their way, they get boarded, and they're met by Pip and Eros, a.k.a. Star Fox, who is played by Harry Styles, and Pip, the elf, the dwarf, or whatever.
Leprechaun.
He's played by Patton Oswalt. He mentions that Eros, the Star Fox guy, is an Eternal, right? He's been out there kicking ass, taking names or whatever, but he's also the brother of Thanos.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
How does that make sense?
So, I'm going to read this paragraph to you. Okay, it says, in the comics, Thanos is a member of the Eternals, a race of superpowered beings that descended from a caste of humans genetically enhanced by the Celestials. Thanos himself is the son of Lars, the leader of an eternal colony on Saturn's moon of Titan. However, Thanos was born with a rare deviant syndrome, which causes him to look more like a deviant than an Eternal. So he's just got a disease, man.
But I thought Eternals, I thought they couldn't have kids.
Did they say that in the movie? I mean, none of them had any
They're
kids.
robots. And also, Cersei and what's-his-face were fucking. They didn't have no kids.
I mean,
Are you trying to tell me that she ain't got a uterus because she's AI?
They've been using a lot of protection for a
No,
long
I don't
years.
believe that for a second.
Yeah, they still.
Yeah, I feel like
Putting on
what
the
they're saying
contraceptives.
right now in this.
In the MCU doesn't make quite
No.
as much sense as it does in the comics. Yeah, I agree with that.
So why was there eternal colony on Titan?
Because the Eternals are all throughout the universe.
So instead of saying on their planet
Yeah,
to
instead of-
incubate, they go to Titan.
They went to Titan. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
And so he saw his planet got destroyed. Didn't
yes, and that's
Thanos?
why he became the Mad Titan, Thanos.
But he saw his planet got destroyed by an eternal, but by a celestial. But they never said that in the movie. They just say someone came and attacked his planet.
What did they say?
It was just somebody came and attacked his planet.
No, his planet died because there was too many people.
Right. It was like overwrought.
Overpopulation.
Yeah, overpopulated.
Oh,
and whatnot.
so Thanos was trying to save Earth from the Celestials, actually.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
didn't
I
they
guess
say
so.
it had to be highly populated for
That's
it to...
true. Thanos was right. Okay.
So Thanos was trying to save
he
us from
reduces
the Celestial.
population of everywhere.
From the emergence.
Then no more emergencies will happen because they should have said that directly. In
That
this
actually
movie.
makes sense.
Why didn't they? That is the tied together that I think we need.
That makes sense.
You know.
I mean, Harry could have come in and said that even if it was in the cutscene.
Yeah, even if it was at the end. That's true.
He could have been like, yeah, you guys think that the blip was awful,
The
but
thing is now.
see about the emergence thing.
We got emergencies popping all over.
yeah,
the
we
place.
wouldn't have had no emergence if you guys wouldn't have
That
fucking
actually makes
de-blipped.
sense. You think that's where the
I don't know.
That
but,
makes sense to
That's
me.
a much more interesting
perspective...
future possibility than the actual end of this
Yeah.
movie, right?
We flip it,
Ereshkigal's
Thanos isn't bad.
Hey, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna pass judgment. But if it was like, hey, actually, because the blip back, there are more Celestials now than ever, and we're all in trouble, or something along those lines, you know?
Yeah. What if some Celestials blimped?
Oh,
I mean, they're not real people, but
but they are life in the universe, right?
I don't know. But I think he just did it on that planet. Right? He did it for Earth.
no, he blipped
the
everything.
blip was everything.
Everywhere in the universe.
Everywhere in the
So
universe.
all the galaxies, everything, the...
Oh shit, I thought it was just Earth.
Every
No.
planet that we've
No.
seen in Guardians of the Galaxy,
No, he
right
blipped
in
it all.
half, you know? Yeah, all blipped. So that's our discussion about it.
So
has
that
made me more
could have
interested in it
been-
than the
Yeah.
movie actually
That
did.
could have been Thanos' motive. Because he did say it was because they came to Titan is overpopulated.
Right.
Now we know that the planet has to be populated for the thing to be born.
Right.
They could tie that in.
They could
That's
definitely tie
better. That should be where they should go because that I can tie together and I can understand.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel that, and that makes me want to see a little bit more of this.
And then
particular world.
watch 5 years from now, we're gonna be like, oh, Thanos was the shit.
Well, I think that's the thing about Thanos, though, is that even though he did an awful thing by our ethical standards, he
Play devil's advocate for
he
it.
believed in what he did because it was.
He thought it was the right thing.
Yeah,
to
he
do.
definitely thought it was the right thing.
Yeah,
So
well,
it's
same
not
thing
even like
with-
he's a villain. He's like an anti-hero.
Same thing with
in some ways.
Icarus, I guess you could say his moral was we're not gonna by saving this planet we're gonna destroy billions of new life or whatever, you know.
Right.
So you can go in a cycle about
yeah.
that like all day.
Yeah.
But
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I feel like he was more of like a higher purpose kind of guy. Like
Thanos? Yeah.
No,
Icarus?
Icarus. I feel like he.
It was a rule follower is what it was.
Yeah, like he
Yeah.
was like, no, this is what we were told to do.
told to do
And
this.
he just wanted
was-
to get on Airshim's good graces and be
Yeah.
like
He
the
was,
next
like,
Private
really-
Eternal.
Yeah.
He just was really.
He's the Boy Scout, and so
For-
Wow, that's a good
sometimes
way of putting it.
sometimes the Boy Scouts got to commit a little bit of murder. Okay, sorry, you know.
Hi, wifey. Bye, wifey.
Bye, wifey.
Yeah.
I'm in the sun.
All right. Well,
I'm in the sun.
I'm in the sun. Okay, I think I only have one other like pretty major qualm with the movie, and that's the deviants themselves.
oh, I forgot they existed.
Right? That's a major part of it. Is that they're
Shouldn't they be
not
the worst part?
a major part of it.
I like that they look like computer wires.
I was
That's pretty legit, Michelle.
I wrote in my notes that they look like
computer
video game
wiring.
bosses.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, my thing about them is that they're the main thing that the action is all based around in this movie, right?
They're the quote unquote bad guys on Earth.
Exactly. They're the bad
Whatever.
guys. But they are so whatever, you know, and even the main one, who I kept calling the Alpha or whatever, who kept evolving and stealing their powers, and eventually he was talking and stuff like that. He was I mean, if he is the villain of this movie, he is the most boring villain. Like,
yeah.
There's nothing to him. But like the fact that in the beginning of the movie they were kind of setting it up like, hey, so the deviants, they came here, they're trying to mess all our shit up, but they keep evolving and stuff like that, so they're kind of getting out of hand. I think that could have been handled a little bit cooler. Like they could have been actual characters. Not that this movie needed more characters, but if they had been at least interesting when they showed up.
There could have been like an Alpha Prime deviant at that point.
Yeah, who had already been like leading them on this new deviant mission or whatever.
Right.
Who, you know, had lines and was sending his cronies off. And
Well, and it didn't particularly make sense to me because it seemed like Ajax could tell where the deviants were all over the planet.
Right.
And then Icarus is saying that these deviants were like
they're like frozen in some ice.
And so like, wouldn't she have seen that?
You would think.
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to the deviant stuff much at all.
But isn't that really telling?
Right. That
Like you should care.
like either they
That's
should
true.
they should be in the movie, cool, even fun to a certain extent, or they just like shouldn't be in it at all. But right in this movie, they are very middle of the road, just like, oh, we need a bad guy to fight right now, so let's.
I honestly would have appreciated it if they had gone a little bit more scary, where like they'd been talking and then a deviant pops out and like what do you call that when something pops out and it scares you?
Oh, a jump scare?
Yeah.
yeah.
I wouldn't have been mad if they jump scared us a couple times.
They could have done that. I also would have appreciated it if like maybe the disease that Thena had, like if the deviants are kind of turning into Eternals, maybe she could have been turning into a deviant or something like that. And then maybe even Icarus and her could have teamed up, and them being the ones who tried to actually commit the emergence or something.
Maybe.
Something. But there just should have been a little bit more with the deviants for as much as they were in and not in the movie.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. So, what did the people think?
Let's
I feel like they might have agreed with us.
check the old Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see here. Let's see if it actually loads for me. Holy hot diggity dog. So this movie on Rotten Tomatoes has a whopping 47%.
Yeah. Is it now the worst rated Marvel movie? Because Thor 2, I think, is better than that.
Maybe. I'm not exactly sure. Let me see. It has an audience score of 78%.
Well, that's bullshit.
Which is interesting. So there's two consensus. The critics' consensus says, an ambitious superhero epic that soars as often as it strains. Eternals takes the MCU in intriguing and occasionally confounding new directions. Okay?
I agree with the last sentence.
Right. The audience consensus says, it's a different kind of Marvel movie, but Eternals still contains all the action, humor, and heart that fans are looking for. And I don't fully agree with that. I think it has some of all of those things, but not quite enough.
And they're not good enough to like be noteworthy.
Right. So I once again posit that like
Eternals, I just looked it up. Eternals is the worst rated Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And then Thor the Dark World is after that. Thor the Dark World has a 66.
How is that
Eternals has a
bad?
47
I don't
and
agree
then-
with that at all because Thor was bad.
Thor the Dark World's not horrible.
It is absolutely horrible.
The Incredible Hulk is still better.
Hulk is next, 67.
I think Hulk
here,
is
here.
there.
Andre can read the
Why
order.
is Age of Ultron so low? I don't appreciate this. Are we on the same?
Age of Ultron did not do very well when it.
It's right there, babe.
I thought that was a great movie.
I was just scrolling down. I was trying to find Age of Ultron.
We're looking at
It's
the
right here.
same article.
Yeah, it has a 76.
So wait, go from the worst to the best.
So the worst rated
Is Eternals.
is Eternals at 47%, Thor: The Dark World at 66%, The Incredible Hulk at 67%, Iron Man 2 at 72%.
I don't even remember Iron Man 2, so
It's the one with the whips.
okay.
He's like,
No, that was pretty bad.
where is my bird?
Mickey Rourke?
Yeah, Mickey Rourke. I want my bird. Avengers Age of Ultron at 76%.
That's my favorite Avengers movie.
And so
good.
I think this movie.
Oh no,
for-
Winter Soldier is my favorite.
This movie for me.
But isn't that a Captain America movie?
True.
Yes.
I get them confused.
Age of Ultron for me is a movie that has gotten better with subsequent movies. I think every time we see Wanda and Vision after that movie makes Age of Ultron better. I think
Yeah, that's
every time
true.
we
That's
see
a good point.
Hawkeye after this movie, it makes Age
That's
of
a
Ultron
good point.
Yeah.
I remember when I got out of the Age of Ultron theater, I was like very conflicted. I was like, oh man, did they really woof it this time? I did not enjoy that as much as the first one. I think they threw in too many elements and all that kind of stuff. But now I can totally watch it and have tons of fun watching them try to pick up freaking Thor's hammer and knowing where that goes. You know, all of those kinds of things in that movie make it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Anywho, we digress.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then after
Eternals are
that
sad
is
times.
Thor, and then Iron Man 3, and then Black Widow, and then Captain Marvel, then the first Captain America, and Ant-Man. And everything from here is 80 and up. So, you know.
They're all
Captain
equal.
Marvel. Come
all,
on, that
all
was a
bangers.
good
All
movie.
bangers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna give this movie a 7. It's fine. It gets a C. It's not like a complete fail, so I'm not gonna give it less than that. But it's a C minus. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Luis.
C minus, C plus, C plus.
C plus.
Yeah, so like I, it's at
7.5.
7.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 Andre.
I think I'm going to give it a 6.5. Because, like, the moments that I enjoy in this movie aren't enough to make me want to watch it, you know? And
I really wanted to watch Shang-Chi. I was like, do we have to watch Eternals? I want to watch Shang-Chi.
yeah, like that's a movie that I'll watch over and over again because of how fun it is. This movie is a lot less fun, and I really felt the length of it upon this viewing. So yeah, 6.5 is where it stands for me.
I was going to give it a 6.5 too.
All right.
It's not one. Now that we've seen it twice, I don't think I'm going to go back and rewatch it.
No, I'm not.
I
It's
feel
one
like
of those Marvel movies I'm not going to go back to.
Yeah, until those Marvel movies that come out after this that definitely pertain to.
Right.
Hey, remember what happened in the Eternals with the Celestial and the Deviants and the.
Then I'll watch a YouTube video.
There you go.
I just feel like it didn't give us enough that it's not going to like. It can tie in, but it's not going to be like I missed XYZ.
Right.
Well, and especially because you watched it twice. Because usually upon the second viewing of something I didn't like the first time, I like it a little better. And I did like it a little better this time, but it wasn't enough for me to be like, yeah, I want to watch it again.
I will say it like answered some questions to watch it a second time, but not like same thing, not enough to feel like, oh yeah, I totally get it.
Right.
I mean, I don't usually fall asleep in a Marvel movie at all. And we had to do this one in 2 sittings because I was done yesterday.
Yeah,
I was like, I can't focus.
Could not continue.
But also, Andre and I had seen Batman like the day before. So to go from Batman to this, we were like,
and hey, guess what? Batman is The Batman is a movie that is almost 3 hours long.
2 hours and 55
Wait, are we
minutes.
talking about the new one?
The new one. We saw it in theaters. No spoilers for that, of course.
spoilers.
But I will say that like I was enthralled the entire time, and that I had the almost exact opposite of that feeling with Eternals.
And it was much shorter.
Right. It has, 20 minutes shaved off of that, and I was still like, oh my God.
Okay, Andre,
Get
what
to
are we
this
doing
emergence.
next time?
Next time on the Walt Vault, we are going back into time.
What? What are you watching? The dinosaur?
Back.
We're
Seriously, might as well watch The Life Before Time now.
Before Time or Dinosaur? Yeah.
We are watching a 30-year-old movie. We are going to check out the 1992 live-action film Sister Act.
Okay, cool.
You went from a blah to a ha-ha.
Starring Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi.
This movie was not a Disney movie originally, but Disney owns it now, so it is on Disney Plus. It is quite a family-friendly movie. I actually have not
I've never seen
it myself.
I haven't. Well, you know what? That's a lie. My parents somehow, my mom, she loves movies. She somehow has watched this movie.
She loves The Good Dinosaur, everyone.
Oh, yeah, dude. My mom loves
Yeah?
The Good Dinosaur.
That's where
Shout
you
out
get it
to
from,
my
dude.
mama.
I hella love
Where you get it from? Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So yeah, check that out. We'll be doing that, coming to you in 2 weeks' time. In the meantime, if you want to keep up with us, you can find us on social media. We are at the Walt Vault Pod. Go there, find the post for this episode, and leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of the Eternals. Did you like it more than us? Is it your favorite Marvel movie ever?
I don't think anyone's going to say that.
Yeah, please let us know if it is, because
if
we
you
need to
give
talk
us
to you.
that, you're gonna need to cite some sources and give us some reasoning.
Yeah, make it a long comment.
I need at least 10 references, 500
One
words,
letter of
double
recommendation.
space.
Yeah. If your comment is over 200 characters long, go ahead and send an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com, and we'll read that message on the show. If you want to help support us, make sure you're subscribed on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. We're on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher. We're on all the podcast platforms. We're on YouTube. Go there, subscribe, leave comments there, leave star ratings. All that stuff helps us out a lot. We also have extra content available over on patreon.com. That's patreon.com/thewaltvault. Get some extra content there for only $1 and help keep the lights on in this dark, dark vault. Go to our website, thewaltvaultpod.com. We've got links to merch and stuff over there. You can get yourself a shirt or a mug or a candle. We got all kinds of stuff on the site. And that's it, you guys. We'll see you next time. Sister Act Goodness. The Vault.